raised in Baton Rouge. Didn't ride no wagon train to Norman or to Boone. They said I'd never make it, just a name they overlook. Now I'm burning up their game plans and ripping up their books. No 5-star shine, no silver spoon. I came up grinding on the Friday night moons. Now they feel me coming like a 4th down blitz. Got 'em talking sideways, throwing fits. But I must admit, I can't quit. 'Cause I'm the outlaw of college football. Ain't no stripes can hold me back. I don't need their legacy or no booster money stack. I don't bow to no tradition. Ain't no handshake deals I need. I just play for pride, for fire, and the will to make 'em bleed. I ain't on your media darlings list. No Heisman hype, no clean-cut script. But every time that whistle blows, I leave my soul out on that road. They talk about dynasties and brands, but I built mine with my own hands. Ain't got no statue, no parade, just broken dreams and lines I've laid. I'm the outlaw of college football, the storm they never saw.
Woo! The storm they never saw. I got my crimson colored glasses on today. Hopefully it'll bring us a little bit of good luck as the two Crimson Nations survived. Remind you of the NCAA basketball tournament more and more every day. As the old motto in the NCAA basketball tournament is win and survive. And that's exactly what we did, or did we? Because there's some rumors out there that certain scenarios take place that if they get a good hankering and a chance that the NCAA committee, which they are apt to do, will try to screw the SEC, especially Alabama. But go ahead and bring in Killer Breeze real quick here in just a second. But as you can see, the title, college football playoffs in chaos, Alabama and Oklahoma possibly out. I don't see how that could happen, but there is scenarios out there for that. And Lane Kiffin, who I was a big supporter of and wouldn't have mind seeing him here at Alabama at one point, just can't handle an exit very subtly, can he? But let's go ahead and bring the killer in here and let him lay down some of the law as well. What's going on, my brother?
What is up, my friend? How are we doing today?
I'm going to take my crimson colored glasses off now because now I'm going to try to be a little more unbiased.
I like wearing the crimson colored glasses. By the way, we should start off by saying it was a great weekend for the Crimson Nations, both getting a win that they to end the year and finish off some pretty good seasons here. And I do believe we'll get into it a little more depth, but I do believe both teams will be in the college football playoff.
Let's go ahead and get the first batter up out of the way. Surprise, surprise, he's back on par. Thunder OU Sooner says Lane Kiffin is now the next Lincoln Riley. Lane Kiffin's new nickname is TBOS for the bitch down south. So I changed it up. I changed it up to T-Bib, the bitch in Baton Rouge.
I like that. T-Bib and Tebow. There you go.
T-Bib and Tebow, the two bitches. Yeah. Although I hate it to happen to LSU because that's your team. That's one of your teams. That's your alma mater.
Yeah, that's my alma mater. That's not my team, man. My team is Oklahoma. There's no two ways about that. But I'm a proud Louisiana native. I love LSU. And now LSU is gonna go once again do what they always do, which is hire someone that I can't stand. Which ironically would not have been the case if you asked me that a month ago.
I would have been okay with it. I was okay with him taking the LSU job. Ole Miss people don't need a mistake. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have left Ole Miss. I'm just saying that he could have handled it a hell of a lot better, man. He had to find a way. I thought he was going to handle it a little more gracefully, but today we hear that he basically pushed the meeting back from – it was supposed to be Saturday night. Then they pushed it back to Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. Then they pushed it back again to 1 p.m. because there was this thing going around that maybe he was holding them hostage, saying if he didn't get to coach the playoffs, that he would, in fact, take some of the staff and some of the players with him immediately. But now I see a couple of headlines that says Ole Miss has hired Pete Golden as the head coach, who's the defensive coordinator, and that Ole Miss has, circled the wagons a little bit and kept everybody in place. So now Lane Kiffin can take a big middle finger.
Yeah, well, my brother graduated from Ole Miss, and it's actually even worse than that, because apparently this whole time it's never really been in question whether he was going to Ole Miss or not. This whole time he's basically been has been kind of throwing a fit and pouting behind the scenes, because he's just been doing whatever he could to be able to coach in the playoff, and he thought if he got to the Egg Bowl and won it, that they would allow him to play in the playoff. That's what this whole thing has been about. And the today, that was his final move to hurt Ole Miss, was to tell basically all of the staff or the offensive staff, not the defensive staff, but the offensive staff, that if they didn't come on the plane with him today, that they don't worry about coming. Which is pretty terrible, man. It's one thing for you to take the job. You need to better yourself. Whatever justification you've got in your mind, you have the right to do whatever you think you need to do. But there's certainly a way to do it and a way not to do it. And once again, most of the time, it seems like these guys just don't have we just don't grow men like we used to. So they just don't have the integrity and the character to do things the right way. It's all about them. How can I'm going to go ahead and screw this place over, this place that gave me a chance at the big leagues again. My plan is I'm going to screw them over. But how can I screw them over in the most painful way possible? That's the goal. I just don't understand it.
What I don't understand is that why they made that documentary about how, he changed, how he'd overcome, and, sort of revamped his perception. And they put this documentary out, and I just watched it a couple of weeks ago, and then this shit happens. It's like the same old Lane. It's like, oh, you got us again. You got us. I ain't gonna lie now. You did get me. I thought you might change a little bit. Like I said, I don't have an issue with him changing jobs. There's just a better way to handle it than, like you say, pouting and screaming and throwing a bitch fit when he was stuck at Florida Atlantic and nobody else wanted to hire him, but Ole Miss give him a chance.
But just think about what he was looking to do to them. Now, luckily for Ole Miss, apparently none of his staff is going with him. They're all staying.
That was a bluff by him, man. He was just hoping they would.
But just think about what he was willing to do to Ole Miss. He was willing to rape their entire offensive staff. If everyone would have gone with him, he would have taken every damn one of them, effectively leaving nobody.
It sort of hits a nerve for the Oklahoma people, right? Y'all can really sympathize with Ole Miss with how Lincoln Riley. Hell, Lincoln Riley ain't even this bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think this actually tops Lincoln. Because damn good and well, T-Bib is definitely going to take players with him too. I think Trinidad is just all but gone. I mean, if you think about it from Trinidad's standpoint, it's really the best thing probably for him to do is to go, because he doesn't know who's coming in, and he'd have to get to know them, and it'd be another offensive, system he'd have to learn. So he's definitely going to take players, but he wanted to literally send them into the playoff with a completely new offensive staff, with the offense being their bread and butter.
And if that had happened,
that's slow down, man.
And another thing, if that had happened, the committee, they're a fickle bunch, and they're a real cowardly bunch. They might have actually bumped Ole Miss down into a possible road game. They got a home game right now where they're at. Or maybe even took them out of the playoffs by saying they're not the same team.
Well, they're lucky that if it is true that all of this, from what I heard, Charlie Weiss Jr. apparently there might be something in the works for him to be able to eventually make it over to LSU. But as of right now, they're all staying. And from what I understand, that was the big motivation between them hiring Golding permanently, is because they want to make sure that the committee can't say that this isn't the same team, or that this team, because imagine that's probably exactly what they would have done. So now with them only losing Lane, and even then that's still a big loss, but with them having the rest of the offensive staff in place, it seems to reason that they'd be able to make a pretty good argument that the team won't fall off much. And man, I hate to say it, but outside of my Sooners and the Crimson Nations in general, if one of our teams doesn't win, I'm pulling for Ole Miss, man.
I swear to God, man, it's funny you said that. And I forgot. I was going to say it actually in the lead up, that if Alabama and Oklahoma do not win the national title, I will be rooting for Ole Miss to win it.
Absolutely.
But let's see what Paul Feinbaum and Matt Berry had to say about the situation, because, they had sort of become real fond of Lane Kiffin too.
But I think it's blown up again. And as somebody who really likes Lane Kiffin, I feel badly that because of greed, because of it's better over there than it is where I am, even though my team is ranked in the top 10 and LSU is nowhere to be found. Kiffin is going to blow up yet another SEC campus for his own personal greed. And I hope he's successful. And I think he will be successful, but ultimately he still doesn't have a championship on his resume. I saw a comparison head-to-head between Lane Kiffin and Gus Malzahn this morning.
It's pretty dead on.
I mean, Gus Malzahn's 3-5 lifetime against Nick Saban, the best coach of all time. Kiffin's 0 for his career against Saban. It was just amazing. Gus Malzahn, who may or may not have a job at the end of the day as a coordinator, blows Kiffin away on a head-to-head basis.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with
Damn
Riverside. You just need a
commercial,
concept
man.
and a way to record it.
So aggravating.
What did he think was going to happen? Because this notion that Ole Miss is going to be like, you know what, you're right. Congratulations on your new job at LSU. We wish you the best in your future endeavors, and we can't wait to see you build that program back international power. We're so excited for you, Lane. And yes, please stay here and coach us through the playoff. Like, what did he think was going to happen? I firmly believe in again, I like Lane. I think he's a good football mind. I think he's entertaining. I think this is ultimately what I believe. I believe that for the entire time, from the time he got the job at Ole Miss at FAU, from FAU, I think he won 2 Conference USA championships while he was there. Loved it in Boca, has a boat, house, loved the whole Florida lifestyle. I firmly believe that Lane always took the Ole Miss job not as a destination, but an opportunity to get back into the SEC, bring his high-flying offense, score points, and attract everyone to.
So what do you think about that?
Well, it actually leads me to a good point. And I think I mentioned this to you earlier. Everyone was so sure when Tebow left to go to USC how great USC was about to be. It was predetermined that they were going to win not just a national championship, that they were going to dominate recruiting. How was anyone going to hold up with USC now that the brilliant, offensive-minded Lincoln Riley is in Los Angeles? Well, what makes you think it's going to be any different for Lane at LSU? Lane hasn't won anything yet. Nothing. He hasn't won anything this year either. He's got a pretty good team, but they're not the favorite by any stretch. So it is not a guarantee that he is going to do well at LSU. I think there's a high likelihood that he can have success. You got to imagine that certainly he'll have just as good of an offense at LSU. I mean, they're not going to get a whole lot better than what he has at Ole Miss, whether they're 5-star players out of high school or Division II transfers like Trinidad. They're not going to get a whole lot better in terms of offense. So there's no guarantee he's doing anything at LSU. But even if he does, it's only a matter of time, man, before he does the same thing again. Maybe to the NFL.
Think he's probably got it in his mind that he wants to be a Super Bowl coach one day.
Yeah, well, that's what I was about to say. It stands to reason that if he does end up winning a national championship in college, wherever that may be, if it is at LSU, it stands to reason that at that point, what's the next? What if you're an egomaniac? What's the big, notch to put on your belt? Well, to win a championship at both levels. There's only a couple of coaches who have ever done that. One of them a former Oklahoma coach, by the way. So, it stands to reason that it's almost guaranteed that, and if he does it quickly, that he might not even be at LA. Let's say he wins a national championship in his first 2 years there. You think he's staying? I don't.
Let me bring something up real quick that's just sort of off the topic, but still sort of kind of on the topic. I think that a lot of Oklahoma people that are in here will take gleeful joy in. You see that?
Yes.
Report. Reps for USC coach Lincoln Riley tried to push Riley into the mix for the Florida job, but Florida AD Scott Strickland refused to even consider him as he wanted to target John Summerall.
So good.
Lincoln boy, all of a sudden he wants to be a part of the cool kids club, man.
Hey, they would rather, but that also means that Florida would rather hire another Sun Belt coach on the heels of a failed Sun Belt coach, as opposed to bringing in this chump right here with the belly button tattoo.
Look at that dude, man. Look at him. He looks goofy as hell, don't he?
It's so funny how things have turned out for him, man. Nobody really, you never hear anyone really talking about the guy when you talk about great coaches anymore. No one ever really brings his name up, not even when they're talking about offense, because
I forget to say this sometimes, but if y'all don't mind, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, you have to donate through Cash App or Venmo. You'll see it coming across the screen down here with the Outlaw Posse Gold Club members who have donated to the channel numerous times. It's money $sign JPC316 on Cash App and JPC316 on Venmo. We have been demonetized December 14th. For what, Killer Breeze?
Because we were sharing Charlie Kirk videos, man.
Damn, man. Just trying to honor a great American hero.
It's absolutely ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. But going back to Lane, what do you think? Or I would love to know what the chat thinks. You think it's a foregone conclusion that Lane Kiffin, now that he's gone to Baton Rouge, is going to all of a sudden that LSU is about to become Nick Saban's Alabama? You think we're on the cusp of that? Do you believe? I mean, again, what has Lane Kiffin won up to this point?
They said he won 2 Conference USA titles, but hell, come on. Does that really matter? Not really.
Okay.
Ole Miss,
that doesn't matter.
Can you see these headlines? Can you read them?
I cannot.
I need to enlarge it.
I can't even see them.
Let me enlarge it.
They're not on the screen at all, though.
Well, they're not on the screen. Well,
no.
let me share the screen.
I thought. There we go.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Let me minus it down some so you can see better. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Ole Miss names Pete Golden the permanent head coach. I think that was a good move. Pete Golden has this look about him. Now, he reminds me of one of those hardcore, gritty type coaches. You ever seen him before?
Yeah.
He's just got that gruff look about him, man. He reminds me of old John Madden, sort of, with a beard. Michigan State fired their coach, but go ahead.
Well, the thing with Golding that I hope at least, it's not like their Ole Miss's defense has been great this year. It really hasn't been. And so I'm imagining, I'm wondering if Pete is going to ultimately end up bringing in a defensive coordinator, and maybe.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and maybe that'll actually work out even better for him in the long run.
You know who he should bring in as his defensive coordinator?
Who's that?
DJ Durkin, the Auburn interim coach. who's not going to be the coach now.
Yeah.
So he's free. Auburn is going to hire Alex Galesh and from South Florida. Now, that was Arkansas's pick, and Auburn stole him from me. But, John Summerall was Auburn's original pick, and Florida stole him, and LSU stole Lane Kiffin from Florida. So we're seeing where the pecking order is in the SEC these days. Now, Ole Miss got screwed in all this, like you alluded to off air earlier. This was your comment. Ole Miss got screwed in the whole deal because they were strung out by Lane to the point where now they're the last team in the SEC to have a shot at getting a head coach. But they did go ahead and not hire Pete Golden. So maybe that'll work out for them.
Yeah, I hope it does, man. I just feel so terrible for Ole Miss. They finally have the best season that they've had ever in the history of the program, and it's just completely marred by this. You got to feel for the players in this situation. That's the ones I really feel sorry for. Secondly, I feel for the fans as well. This just puts a damper on everything, and I'm sure the committee will at least ding them somehow. Maybe they don't have a home, maybe they don't host a home game. But I just feel so terrible for the Ole Miss fans and the players.
I think because most of their staff is staying, I don't think they'll ding them at this point. But here's the AP poll this week. The AP poll's actually been locking step with the playoff committee. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
It's like almost like a miniature version of the AP poll every week. It's just 13 people instead of 65, or however many they got, 66. Georgia moves up to number 3. Oregon is now a top 4 seed.
I've seen a few projections of Texas Tech getting the bye, and dude, if that happens, I'm just going to be pissed.
Well, I obviously, my feelings about the bye. I don't want to bye. If Alabama beats Georgia, I'm fine with not getting a bye because I want that home field game in Tuscaloosa in the middle of December, as I'm sure you want one in Norman as well.
Absolutely.
But there is a scenario out there that people have been talking about. Since Oregon moved up to number 4, that's real interesting. If the committee moves them up to number 4, that means Oregon won't have to play in a conference title game, and they'll basically be locked in to have a bye if the playoff committee goes by the AP poll like they've been doing. So there's a scenario out there, though. That's why I bring this poll up, that Notre Dame may get pushed ahead of Oklahoma this week because Oklahoma,
of course,
they did the same thing to Alabama, said our rushing attack wasn't as great as Notre Dame's and our losses weren't as good as Notre Dame's losses. But, I thought great wins should matter more. We had like 4 or 5 top 20 wins, top 10 wins, but they are going by the better losses. They just don't make much sense to me. And they're talking about moving Notre Dame ahead of Oklahoma maybe this week, and then maybe moving Miami up, and then having the discussion of whether Miami should get in over Alabama at that point.
I told you this earlier too. I fully expect that to happen. I'm sure that the committee is going to go, well, Oklahoma's offense looks so terrible, and they're gonna think, because again, any chance that the national media gets to get down on its knees and give fellatio to Notre Dame and or Texas, they take it every chance they get. So I'm fully prepared for the committee to drop down to their knees quickly and give Notre Dame the home game. I'm sure that is going to happen.
There's something that they was talking about could be added to that scenario. If the Notre Dame thing happened, if Texas Tech loses to BYU, they're saying they would not drop Texas Tech out, even though they would probably deserve to be dropped out if they lose to BYU. They're saying that if BYU upsets Texas, that the Big 12 will get 2 teams in, and at that point, it would push Oklahoma and Alabama out. If Notre Dame gets pushed above Oklahoma this week and Texas Tech gets upset, they're talking about the possibility of pushing Alabama and Oklahoma out.
Again, man, I'm not going to be surprised if Oklahoma gets screwed in this thing. I'm almost kind of prepared for it, but I got to tell you, for BYU, I don't give a rat's ass whether BYU stomps them out or not. They got their asses stomped out by this same team earlier this year. So if BYU goes to the playoff before Alabama or Oklahoma, dude, it's just, I mean, it's just going to be the largest load of elephant crap I've ever seen.
What does your viewer counter say? Mine says 137.
I am at 96.
All right. Well, I got 137 over here. If y'all don't mind, smash the like button. I'm not sure how many likes we got.
Yeah, that helps us out.
How many likes do we have?
I see 23 right now. Y'all give us if you can, take the time, hit that like button. That does help us out.
Yeah, it only takes 4 or 5 seconds to do that. Probably not even that long. We got 137 people in here. Hitting the like button's not going to hurt you. You're not going to have to pay for anything. Hell, even subscribe to the channel. Even if you don't like us, subscribe so you can come in here and do us.
Hell yeah. It's free, man.
We can take it really. We're not going to boot you.
Out.
We're not going to boot you if you start grilling us unless you act like a complete spastic like Rich Huffman did in the multi-chat. But
well, you know what I was thinking though, by the way? Tell me what you think about this. Because it's obvious Lincoln's looking to get out of town. There was rumors that was the case, and if the story that you showed has any truth to it, which I would imagine it does, then he's looking to get out of town. What about Riley to Ole Miss? Wouldn't that be a good spot for him?
Yeah.
Then he doesn't have the pressure.
What if
Pudding over in Oxford?
Well, what if Ole Miss and LSU just trade coaches and Brian Kelly ends up in Ole Miss?
Oh God, I hope not, man. I like Ole Miss too much to have Brian Kelly's dumb ass over in Oxford. I think we can all agree that college football is better without Brian Kelly in it.
Numbskull News is in the house. He's a good aggravating little bastard. He can press some buttons.
By the way, a lot of people thought Brian Kelly to LSU was a slam dunk too.
Oh yeah. It's sort of similar, right? It's sort of similar in a way because Brian Kelly was sort of shady to Notre Dame, and Lane Kiffin's been shady to Ole Miss, and I hate it because I actually like LSU. Unlike some Alabama fans, I partied with them down in Shreveport when I went to the Independence Bowl.
Yeah, they're fun.
I went to the Independence Bowl 3 times, by the way. So don't ever let anybody say I'm a damn bandwagon fan because I went to Shreveport 3 times for my team. And every single time I was treated like royalty down there, man. They treated me good. Give me a $50 ticket that cost $50 to get in the tent and eat all you could eat sausage and I can't even pronounce some of the shit, but it's just all sorts of food, man. All that Cajun food and free liquor and beer and everything. But as you scroll on down here, you can see that they got Texas has moved up from 17 to 14. That's another thing that's been talked about, and you got a little animated when we were talking about Texas off the air earlier, because Texas says their argument to be in the playoffs is they beat 3 top 10 teams, and that they're getting punished for playing Ohio State.
I had to play a hard team. Cry me a effing river, man. I could care, and I don't want to hear anyone even giving any credence to that nonsense. Everybody's schedule's tough out of conference. That's what happens. The problem is you lost. We scheduled Ohio State before to start the season. We lost to them once and we beat them once. The famous Baker Mayfield planted the flag on the O.
Y'all did schedule the supposed second or third best team in the Big Ten and the Michigan Wolverines, and y'all beat them. So there you go.
So I don't want to hear anything about, that's what they're all boo-hooing. Oh, you just penalizing us for scheduling Ohio State. You just penalizing us for scheduling Ohio State. No, we're penalizing you for losing to Ohio State, getting your ass kicked by Georgia, and losing to a horrible Florida team who's about to hire their second Sun Belt coach. Yeah. So I don't want to hear anything about, it's not fair. It's not fair.
If you want to blame somebody for not getting in, blame this right here.
Yeah.
Old Gator
exactly.
Chomp. Got
Chomp
your
your
ass
ass.
chomp down there in the swamp.
Chomp
Numbskull
your
News.
ass.
Numbskull News says what I was already saying. If BYU wins and Bama loses, Bama's going to get knocked out. That's what I was talking to you about offline. If Alabama, he's already automatically going to be considered the runner-up in the SEC. Whoever wins or loses that game, the loser of that game is considered the runner-up. How is it that the runner-up of the SEC gets booted out of the playoffs for teams that are the third best team in their conference, like Oregon, and a team that don't even play in a conference championship like Notre Dame? And who else? Ole Miss is just sitting there, you know. Ole Miss just sitting there resting. They're the third, fourth best team in the SEC, and they're going to get in over Alabama. I don't care if we do have more losses. Technically, we're the second best team. And BYU doesn't deserve – I mean, if Texas Tech shits the bed against the team that they beat pretty handedly the first time, does Texas Tech really deserve to be in? I'm just saying.
Hell, I mean, look, listen. There is it's not comparable running through the SEC. It's just not. You have to give it more weight. You just have to. The top to bottom, especially now. Look at our bottom. Vanderbilt is a traditional bottom feeder in this league. They did great last year. South Carolina, traditional bottom feeder in the league. Last year they should have been in the playoff last year. They got completely screwed. So the at the end of the day, the SEC championship game, the result of it should not matter in terms of hurting you. It shouldn't hurt you. Bama should be in at this point, period.
Right. And people keep saying, well, so-and-so only has this many losses. The committee said time and time again, so if they're going to go by their word, they said they're not looking at totally at losses, but the eye test and who's just basically the better team.
Well, we got
You can't tell me that Alabama is not better than Texas Tech and BYU.
I would agree. I would agree, man. To me, we got completely hoodwinked on the strength of schedule thing. They're clearly not putting weight into that really at all. That's what it seems like. The fact that Georgia is third and A&M were third was an insult in the first, to me in the first place. To me that should matter. But it doesn't. It clearly doesn't. And this committee always does something ridiculous. So like I said, man, I will not be surprised at all if Oklahoma gets screwed out.
They're going to have to do away with it. Like I told you before, the committee is just a miniature version of the AP poll. It's just 13 people. It was a lot better off with the BCS formula.
Absolutely.
The only reason the BCS didn't get it right sometimes because it only had 2 teams to pick from. It never got the luxury of picking 4 or picking 12. If the BCS gets put back into effect, and maybe they put the AP poll in there or whatever, or maybe even include a 13-member committee and put them together and have a collaborative ranking, you'd probably get a lot better and more fair ranking system. And now the ACC might have screwed themselves out of a playoff completely. If Duke wins that conference championship, Duke will have 5 losses as a conference champion. And if they're not one of the highest ranked conference champions, it doesn't have to be a Power 4. If they're not one of the highest ranked conference champions, then Duke won't go. It'll be 2 G5 schools going, because what if James Madison jumps them? Because James Madison is probably better than Duke, to be honest with you. At that point, the only hope they got is get Miami in as an at-large. And then again, my argument is, why does Miami get to sit at home and rest while Alabama and Georgia and Ohio State and Indiana and whoever's in the Big 12 title game, Texas Tech and BYU, all them teams are having to play? It's like a punishment for getting to your title game, man. That's ass backwards.
Yeah. It's totally ass backwards. I think we've talked about this before. If you expand the playoff, you have to do away with the championship games. You just got to. What is Sparky Watts talking about? Clickbait.
1989 M is in the house. He's our resident Michigan guy. Sorry if you lost, brother. I was thinking Michigan might be able to sneak in if they beat Ohio State. He says, you can't tell me that Bama ain't one of the best 12 teams. Ain't no way. And we got a new name in here I want to recognize. Sir Smokes a Lot. Pretty cool name. Says BYU isn't jumping Bama. Even if Bama loses, BYU has the resume of a Division III team. I completely agree with that assessment, Sir Smoke a Lot. And what was you talking about down here? Somebody down here got an issue? What's clickbait?
Sparky Watts has clickbait question mark. I don't know what he's talking about. Unless he's talking about, we're not talking about Lane Kiffin betrayal, which we're more than happy to talk about.
Look, we've already talked about Lane. We talked about Lane early going, man. You late to the party, man. You checked in late, so.
But we're more than welcome. If you got some points that you want to make about Lane Kiffin's betrayal, because that's absolutely.
See, I don't understand people that put clickbait on a video they don't like. They're only putting clickbait because they don't like what the video's saying. They're not putting clickbait because it's the definition. The definition of clickbait means it's not about the title. We've talked about every single thing up here. You tell me one thing we hadn't talked about, and then I'll tell you maybe we're clickbaiting. Other than that, you need to get a dictionary and learn the definition of clickbait. Damn, man. I have to explain that to people all the time.
Class is now dismissed.
That's right, KMCA.
Lane is the victim. That's what he wants everyone to think. That's what Lane, if you, by the way, did you see his statement? I know we talked about this, but let's go back for a second. Let's beep, beep, beep. What? Did you see his statement that he released?
Who?
Kiffin.
Lane?
Yeah. Did you see Lane's statement?
He probably, I know how he is. He probably just made it to where he was the victim.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. He literally was like, I really wanted to sit there and play through it, but it was the administration just wouldn't allow it. He named the AD. And I wouldn't allow it either.
Best of both worlds. You get to recruit for LSU and pilfer Ole Miss on the way out. Like you said earlier, he's got access to Ole Miss's computers, all of their facilities, and can recruit for LSU from a rival team. And it ain't like they're just in the same conference. Dude, these two teams are considered heated rivals.
Dude, let me tell you something. If Oklahoma's coach had them at 11-1 and headed into the playoff, or let's just take this year, if BV right now had a deal to go coach at Texas, not only is he not coaching in a playoff, his ass needs to get out of town as quickly as possible because he might have his house lit on fire with him inside of it. Well, as long as Miss Julie is out of it.
Lane left.
But there's no way. There's no way you allow him. And, I was a little disappointed in Nick Saban because Nick Saban was originally, somebody brought this point up about how all these agents have CAA, all these guys that are on all these TV personalities that Nick Saban is now, they all have agents. And apparently all of these guys have CAA, which is one of the big, talent agencies. They're all, have CAA as their agent. And so CAA is trying to make Lane look as good as possible. And Nick Saban, who originally went public talking about how no way Ole Miss should allow Lane to coach there if he takes a job. And now he's reversed that opinion on TV, saying that he thinks they should let him coach in the playoff. Damn good and well Nick Saban wouldn't allow anything like that.
That's hypocritical as hell, considering he fired Lane Kiffin.
That's what I was going to say.
Not just the SEC championship. He fired him before a national title game because he was going to take another job, which is exactly what he's doing now. I've caught Saban in a lot of hypocrisy, and I catch heat from my fans for calling him out, but he's human just like the rest of us and says stupid shit all the time. And dude, it's like the whole $700,000 ain't life-changing money shit that he said on Pat McAfee show.
Saban not only fired him before the title game, but Saban fired him specifically because he was recruiting for FAU while he was supposed to be preparing for the national title game. So you think, he did it under Big Daddy Nick. If he's going to do that to Big Daddy Nick, the balls of this son of a bitch, when he's not even the head coach to recruit for another. It's like what Tebow did to us, recruiting for USC and having them damn coaches recruiting for USC when they were still at OU. Damn good and well that's what he would be doing if they let him coach in the college football playoff. He'd be using that to recruit every good player that he had and every player he was trying to get to come with him to LSU. No way you let that guy coach. Hell no.
It's just like the NIL, man. It's just like the NIL. There's certain common sense rules that they can put in place to curb all this stupid shit that's going on, but for some reason they can't do it. They can't get the shit right for whatever reason. And just like these coaches, man, they can make them all sign some kind of contract that says, hey, you're not allowed to look at other coaching jobs until after the season's over. There's something they could put there so this shit don't happen, because it's not fair to Ole Miss and their players. Like you said, man, they're fans. Not just, like you said, off air, it's not just the players and the coaches. You got millions of fans out there that feel slighted too from donating all this money to this guy who preached the gospel and then turned out to be Jimmy Swaggart.
Listen, you think about how bad Oklahoma fans are desperate for a championship. And we still even though it was 25 years ago, we still won. We've got several, and we've had one somewhat recently. Ole Miss doesn't have one at all. And this is their chance to possibly finally get one. You think about being a lifelong Ole Miss fan. This is the Boston Red Sox before they finally broke through. This is the Chicago Cubs before they finally broke through. Like this is finally their chance. And this is what you do to these people. By the way, Kay Shea, who you have up there right now, also said she's a Dog fan. She thinks Vandy and OU are the ones getting screwed. I don't necessarily disagree. I was saying the same thing to Jesse. I would not be surprised. First of all, if I'm a Vandy fan, I'm pissed.
Kay Shea also says here she thinks that the SEC, Kay Shea 1882 says the SEC deserves 6 teams, and yet we have Notre Dame. Notre Dame is not in a conference, and they get to rest every year. They get to rest and sit back while other people get screwed. Last year they got in the playoffs. I don't know where they were at. I don't know if they were. I think they were one of the last teams to get in last year too. But if it's 6 teams that deserve to be in at that point, should it be Vanderbilt or should it be Texas? Because, and I'm taking up the Longhorns. I'm trying to keep a straight face when I say this, but anyway, Texas beat Vanderbilt head to head. Texas should be in over Vanderbilt, right?
No, Vanderbilt has a better record in the SEC. Vanderbilt's 10-2, but both Vanderbilt and Texas should be over Notre Dame. I'll give you that. They should both be in over Notre Dame. I mean, again, I don't care, dude. And then here's the other thing. Go to the here's how it should work. I'm calling it. Mark it down. This is the law by killer. You go back to the BCS rankings, and whatever the tournament draw is, if it's 12, then the top 12 in the BCS rankings go. If it's 14, then the top 14 go, top 16, whatever, top 24. Eventually, this MRFer is going to, probably going to 128 before it's all over with. But at the end of the day, you put in the BCS, the computer, when it's going that many deep, is going to get it goddamn closer than the committee's going to get it. That's for sure.
The BCS,
I don't care about no damn conference championship, no automatic bids, none of that. No goddamn group of 5 just because you're a great group of 5 and we want to pretend like everybody gets a chance. There's too much money at stake.
Exactly. Can I get a hallelujah and amen?
Hallelujah, amen.
Because I don't have a problem with the G5 getting in if they're ranked high enough. And you've seen in the past, they're like, well, they never get ranked high enough because they'll intentionally rank them low. I've seen in the past where Boise State was ranked in the top 5 in the AP poll. So they can absolutely get there. They just can't go around losing games to each other. If you're playing in a shitty conference, you should win every single game because you're in a crappy conference. And then you play a couple of tough out-of-conference teams like Boise State usually does, and you win those, well, then, you'll be considered. So I don't have anything about the G5 getting in as long as it's not as long as it's not like a quota or a DEI kind of thing.
If they earn it, fine. I would love to see who doesn't like the Cinderella story, man. I'm a Sooner fan, die hard.
Yeah, but you want them to have earned that shit.
But they gotta earn it. Goddamn, dude, sports is the only meritocracy left, and with all this gambling shit, I'm a little worried about that. But it's the only meritocracy left in this.
That's
What kind of world, man. I'm not going to dive into the politics, but it's the only meritocracy we have left. And now that we've created or made it official that college sports is professional college sports, there's too much money at stake, man. This ain't about the feel good anymore. This is about professional sports.
That's probably
money, billions at stake.
That's probably why Mateer started doing so badly after the injury, man. He's probably been betting on the games again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, I got to be honest with you. Watching the Oklahoma game this weekend, I was thinking some of those refs were in on the take, considering some of the. I mean, dude,
nobody talks about the refs.
The non-pass interference call in the Oklahoma game against LSU, it was as bad as the Saints no pass interference call against the Rams in the NFL. He ran over the dude. The ball still ends up hitting the receiver in the feet while the player from LSU is literally running over the top of him.
What's crazy, man, is these basketball officials get investigated all the time. Even baseball umps get investigated, but you never hear of the referees in football, whether it's the NFL or college, getting investigated for gambling. And you know they got to be doing that shit. You know there's got to be at least one or two out there, out of all these referees, that have gambled on college sports and NFL sports.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's a problem, man. I used to get. I was not always the upstanding, law-abiding citizen that you see in front of you today. So, I'm 52 years old, man. I started placing bets with a bookie when I was a senior in high school. By the time I was in college, I was the bookie. I've been gambling on sports for a long time. I know what it does, man. And if you think with as big as it is, there was already a lot of money being gambled when it was illegal. Now that they're literally promoting it, I mean, dude, I was looking at JD Piquel's On Threes, one of the biggest, YouTube sports guys. His damn plate on his show is a BetMGM moniker. You know what I mean?
Look at all these podcasts that are sponsored by Pearl River Resort, Oklahoma Breakdown, the Alabama podcast, The Next Round with Mick Gillespie. All of them are sponsored by casinos, man.
I agree.
You mean to tell me the casinos don't want to maybe tweak some things? But Numbskull News says that LSU should have hired Summerall. Maybe. I mean, I think the LSU hiring Lane Kiffin was a good hire until it shook out the way it did. It exposed Lane Kiffin as being this shady character that had fooled us all up into believing that he was doing things on a high road. And he could have took this job and kept that high road persona, but the way he handled it in these last few days and hours has made him look like a complete and utter jackass.
Now, here's the one thing that I will say. If Ole Miss wanted to keep him, I don't think it would have been unreasonable for Lane to say, well, look, I want some more investment from you guys. I want more than 68,000 when we have our best attendance ever. I want it to be more than 68,000. I need a better stadium. I need more of a commitment from you too. I think that would have been fine. And if they didn't want to do that, then, you got to do what you got to do. And I will say, because I know what LSU has to offer, man. They have second to none facilities. They have the best of the best. So it would have been fine. I think it's been perfectly reasonable for him to expect more from Ole Miss. If he's going to raise the level, then they need to raise the level too. But
Ole Miss, they said Ole Miss did actually ante up and come close to what LSU is.
I think that I think that's right. But I'm talking about not just the salary. I'm talking about the facilities and the stadium and those kinds of things. But man, it still doesn't. Look, dude. There's a way to do things, and there's a way not to do things. And he did it the wrong way again. He's done this everywhere he's ever been. Has ended poorly. There's not one stop that didn't end poorly. Not one. So.
Ex-Charger OUX says, nah, both of our alma maters are making it in. I'm calling it now. The Tide beats Georgia in the conference championship game 28-21. Now, it is true that Alabama's played Georgia 4 times in the SEC title game, and they're 4-0. We're also 10-1 against Georgia the last 11 games. But I have a feeling that Georgia's probably due. And I'm an Alabama fan telling you that I think Georgia's probably due. And that's my biggest concern right now is that Alabama's going to get beat, and then they're going to screw us out of the playoffs and put someone in like a BYU, like Numbskull said. If Texas Tech gets upset by BYU and Notre Dame for some reason moves ahead of Oklahoma, we could have a nightmare scenario for the SEC and the 2 Crimson Nations. It's probably not going to happen to Oklahoma, but Alabama could definitely get the screw again.
Well, here's the thing. Here's how I see it. Oklahoma is covered on both sides because they clearly have valued losses and valued wins, this committee. You never know which one they're going to look at. But our losses are quality losses. We lost to one playoff team in Ole Miss who was a top 10 team, and the other one is one who's crying like hell to get in because they think they should be in, but they're a 9-3 team, and they've got 3 top 10 ranked wins. That is – you can't take that away from them.
And they also got one unranked 4-8 loss.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we can talk about that a lot. I thought you were about to give them credit for something else.
No. They have one. They have a who all did Texas lose? They lost to Georgia. That's a good loss.
No, they got their ass whipped by Georgia. That's not a good loss. They got their ass kicked.
They got embarrassed by Georgia. Who else they lose to?
Ohio State.
Ohio State and Georgia, okay. But when you lose to a team that's 4-8, not even close to sniffing the bowl game. They're not even close to sniffing
It's
the bowl.
not just a bad loss, but they also, the number of losses is a problem for them. They also have some really weak wins. Right. They barely beat Kentucky. They were losing to Mississippi State in the 4th. I mean,
they should have lost to Mississippi State. That looked bad on them. And them barely beating Kentucky 16-13 wasn't a good look either.
Yeah. So now, you got the quality, you got quality losses, and Oklahoma has the most wins against ranked opponents. They got 5. I don't think there's anyone else in the country with 5 ranked wins. They're not all that, some of them were ranked in I think Auburn was like 22 when we played them, which is funny. But they were ranked at the time, so that's all I care about. So at the end of the day, I feel like Oklahoma's resume should be good enough to get in. But do I think they're a lock? No. I saw the playoff predictor has them at like 99%. You got to be kidding me, man. No one is 99% in this thing with this committee.
K-Shay 1882
Notre Dame. They seem to be.
K-Shay 1882 says you can't start penalizing teams for having to play in the SEC championship game. I'm pretty sure the Dogs will be happy to give you our spot. Well, I don't think Georgia's going to roll over and let us have it because they've caught too much grief for losing to Alabama all the time. Georgia probably really wants this game, maybe even more than the national championship at this point. But this guy right here, Peter Dragon, says we don't know what happened. It's all reports and speculation. No, I don't think it is because didn't you say Lane Kiffin wrote a sob letter about his?
Oh yeah, he released absolutely.
That's not a report or a speculation. That's Lane Kiffin's own words. Peter Dragon. He's the one that's saying that basically Ole Miss screwed him out of being able to coach his team. Which I don't think that's the case. I think Lane screwed Lane. As Vince McMahon once famously said on Brett Screwed Brett, Lane screwed Lane on this. Now, there's going to be some talking heads out there that's probably going to take up for him. He should be able to coach, and Nick Saban's going to be a hypocrite and say the same shit. But he shouldn't be able to coach. It shouldn't be his option. If you want LSU so bad, then go to LSU, man.
Well, apparently, from what I understand, or what my brother heard around his Ole Miss circles, is that apparently Lane was going to leave last year. He was going to Florida. When it looked like Florida was going to fire Napier, he was out the door and he was going to Florida. But then Florida, if you remember, at the last minute, decided to hold on a second. Let me address something here. K-Shay, you ain't doing anything disrespectful. We're not, she's joking around. We're not dating. I'm single. Sorry. I saw that brewing and I wanted to nip that.
This ain't the dating game.
Yeah.
Killer Breeze does have a groupie network. I'll give y'all the information to Killer Breeze's groupie network after the show.
No. We're good. But here's the thing. Lane wanted to leave last year. So apparently he's been looking to stick, put it right in Ole Miss where it hurts for a while now. He wanted to leave last year. He was out the door. The Florida job in his mind was all but taken. And then Florida decided to keep Napier at the last minute, and he was kind of stuck. Which also maybe makes a little sense of why he didn't have a better quarterback and ended up having to get Trinidad at the last minute Division II. Maybe that was why, because he wasn't really, So this year, apparently, this has been, I think, since October, he's been checked out. So, it just sucks, man, because again, I thought he had grew past a lot of this. Apparently, a lot of people at Ole Miss really thought the same thing. I thought Lane had done a good job of earning, who doesn't like a comeback story? So it seemed like Lane was a good comeback story. This little immature kid who made such an ass of himself at Tennessee and in Los Angeles and at the Raiders. I mean, people don't even remember the Raiders. That was a train wreck too. So it looked like
Moore says I'm not having. Go ahead.
What's that?
I said Charlie Moore says I'm not in the habit of questioning anyone's honesty, but as an OU fan, that if any OU fan thought this season would go the way it has before the season started, it is not Nostradamus. I'm proud of the team. In other words, he's saying that nobody thought OU would be 10-2 at this point. That he's very happy where OU is at.
Yeah. If Oklahoma, look, I'll be honest with you. I was already preparing. I thought for sure.
Y'all want to see a silver fox? Y'all need to see Numbskull.
Yeah,
he's a silver fox.
Numbskull is a silver fox. That's
I see him in there hating on you. We'll set you up a groupie. We'll set you up a groupie network too, Numbskull.
Yeah, he's got me beat. Numbskull is definitely the silver fox. So, but Lane, at the end of the day, man, Lane showed you who he is. He doesn't care about anyone but himself, and that includes LSU. They will just be a stepping stone ultimately for him to go to the NFL at some point. And if he doesn't win right away, the LSU fans will go south on him quick. And he's clearly not as mature as we thought. And so I can't imagine he would handle that well. This thing has a number of different ways of ending poorly.
Sooner Spy, that's your boy Steve Lees. Steve Lees, of course, he's always going to come in here and say, I predicted Oklahoma to go 10-2 or 11-1. Yeah, you did last year too. And you did the year before that. And the year before that. If you keep saying it, eventually you'll be right. It's like those people that say Alabama's going to lose. If you keep saying it, eventually you will be right once or twice out of 14 games. Congratulations on a shitty percentage at predicting. But you've been saying Oklahoma was going to go 11-1 for 4 years now, man. Of course you're going to get it right sooner or later because Oklahoma's a blue blood. They're going to re-rise.
That's right.
The cream always rises to the top, man.
Yeah, man. And listen, Oklahoma, regardless of whether I thought, even if they had lost to LSU, as upsetting as that would have been, I still would have been happy with 9-3, considering the schedule that we had and the wins that we got. 10-2, even if we don't make the playoff, I'll be pissed. Don't get me wrong, but it would still be a successful season. And you would think next year, as long as Kip Lewis comes back, everyone on defense, damn near, except Dominic Williams, is eligible to come back. Some of them have to, like David Stone and Jaden Jackson. But Kip Lewis can come back too. If Kip comes back, and we got to see what we got to do. I think they should have open competition at quarterback, considering how things have gone with Mateer, especially since the thumb injury. I don't know what's going on there, but he's not the same guy. It's amazing to me that this is the same guy that led the NCAA in touchdowns thrown just a year ago at Washington State. Just think about that for a second. He threw more touchdowns than anybody else. But this is the guy that seemingly is having a hard time throwing any touchdown passes now. So
Washington State, you better be honest, Washington State didn't play any real good defenses.
Yeah, but dude, I'm not even talking about defense. I'm talking about just accuracy alone. He can't seem to get the ball close to a receiver on a deep route. Not even close.
Yeah, it's got to be that injury. It's got to be that injury.
So I think you're right. I mean, you've been saying that all year. I think you got to be right. I think the thumb injury was worse than, or certainly had a bigger effect than people thought it would, or he thought it would.
You're at Steve Lee's. Kilbree said, I got to be right.
I would agree. I mean, I think the thumb is probably still an issue. There's a lot of people that don't think the thumb is still an issue, tired of hearing about the thumb, but I mean, man, his accuracy has changed. It's now it could be all mental. That's certainly your mental is big, if not a bigger part than the physical. So
John Ritchie said you better hide. The narc is here.
The narc is in the house. He's just hiding under a different name, which is what narcs do.
Paul Blart.
Now, see, I thought we were becoming friends, me and the Silver Fox. But then look at what the Silver Fox is doing, man. Just look at what he's doing. Look at what he's doing.
Well, here's the thing.
By the way, while Notre Dame is beating Oklahoma, where is what's that little team he likes? Where is that other team?
TCU.
TCU, that's it.
The only team to ever get treated like a homecoming opponent in the national title game.
What's that?
TCU is the only team to ever make the national title game and get treated like a homecoming opponent. Georgia beat them 62-7, remember? But Notre Dame might beat Oklahoma if they continue to unfairly push Notre Dame up because they have 41 more yards rushing. That's why the committee said they put Notre Dame over Alabama, is because they had more rushing yards than us. And their losses are better. But who cares about the 4 or 5 great wins? Notre Dame gets a game in South Bend, they may have Oklahoma at a disadvantage.
I mean, again, I just don't see how you can even possibly compare the two resumes. You just can't. If you're trying to tell me that Notre Dame has an equivalently good schedule, wins and losses, you're just lying, man. You're just an absolute liar, because they're not even remotely the same. By the way, they're not even remotely the same to Alabama or Vanderbilt and probably them damn Longhorns too.
That wasn't just a blowout, man. That was like a massacre. That was like 62-7. I don't know if anybody that's ever got beat 62-7 in a national title game. Not like that. At least put up some more points. Now, there's been games in the playoffs where teams got beat and give up 63 points like Oklahoma did, but they scored 28.
Well, look, man, I'll take our history.
But the difference is Oklahoma's won a national title here.
Notre Dame will be. Let's see. Here he goes.
More recently, they've won one this century. Oklahoma's won one this century.
Now the Silver Fox is expanding the hatred. Now it's Notre Dame beats all SEC teams.
A while ago, he was saying Notre Dame didn't belong. What happened to that?
They don't belong.
Well, he done changed his mind, man. He's like,
either does Miami or BYU.
You fickled, ain't you? You said a while ago that Notre Dame didn't deserve to be in. Now you're saying they're going to beat everybody.
By the way,
they're going to beat Ohio State.
Who did Texas Tech lose to?
Yeah, Arizona State. Who beat Arizona State?
Quality loss.
Mississippi State beat Arizona State, and Arizona State beat Texas Tech.
Is that a quality loss? Is that a quality loss? Dog walking a mid-card conference, but still losing to one of them? I mean, really.
How can they not deserve it and they will beat most? I don't get that. They've already lost the SEC. They couldn't beat Miami. Every good team they've had a crack at, they've lost to, man. And I don't want to hear that shit about, well, they got close. What's the old saying goes?
ACC should not have anyone in this playoff. Not one team. Not even Miami. You think there's an ACC team that deserves to be there over the other teams that could be there in front of them?
The ACC should be left out completely.
Completely. I totally agree.
I'd be more apt to put in Texas Tech and BYU than Miami.
I think K-Shay earlier was right that you probably have a good argument that it should probably be Georgia, A&M, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Alabama, Texas, Vanderbilt. Am I forgetting one? What is that? 7? I'm serious. I can make an argument for every one of them.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Let's take a team that's slightly on the cusp of the top 20. It's an SEC school. Let's take Tennessee, for example. If you put Tennessee in the Big 12, what do you think would happen? You think Tennessee would be in the Tennessee, who's not going to get in the playoff, but they're a middle-of-the-road SEC club this year. They're going to get in the bowl game. If you take Tennessee and put them in the Big 12, or you play Tennessee against Notre Dame 10 times, what do you think is going to happen?
If Tennessee plays in the Big 12, they're minimum 11-1 playing for the championship. They beat Notre Dame 7, 8 out of 10 times. Am I wrong?
No. Now,
Tennessee, keep in mind, Tennessee had the unfortunate luck of having to play against some great defenses all year long. They had at one time the number one offense in the country before they started getting stomped down by some of the heavy defenses that they had to play. So what do you think they would do in the Big 12? They'd be throwing the ball. The funny thing is they probably would have fit in pretty damn well with the Big 12 this year. Because they would have thrown the ball all over the place. They would have had good enough defense. I can't imagine that Tennessee wouldn't be playing for the Big 12 title. Really. Their offensive line would dominate.
Now, I could take it if you said Tennessee wouldn't win the Big 12, but to say 6-6, now we know you're trolling. Now we know you're not being serious. Now we know you're trolling, man. You just outed yourself, man.
Yeah, that's Chris Camp says Notre Dame would have at least 3 losses depending on who in their schedule. If Notre Dame had on a schedule, they'd probably have lost to Texas too. Yeah, I think so. Absolutely, especially if they played Texas at the end of the year.
Notre Dame in the SEC would definitely lose 3 games a year, every year. Not every year.
In the SEC?
Yeah, they would lose 3 games every year.
At least.
That's being nice. I could say what I really meant, but
they would have a lot of 4-8, 5-7, 6-6. There'd be a lot of that.
Tennessee's played no one. They played Georgia and Alabama and Vanderbilt. All those teams are ranked. They played Oklahoma. So Tennessee's played no one.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Tennessee's played a bunch of ranked teams, and they probably should have beat Alabama and Oklahoma.
They played Georgia. They played Alabama. They played Oklahoma.
They should have beat Georgia. They had Georgia beat. They missed a field goal. and give Georgia new life. Tennessee could have easily won all those games. The only game they couldn't have won was Vanderbilt.
Yeah. How funny is that?
They could have beat Alabama. They could have beat Oklahoma. They could have beat Georgia. They were right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's my point.
They're making me take up for Tennessee.
And by the way,
I hate taking up for Tennessee.
And by the way, they're doing all of that after their starting quarterback left them at the last possible minute, and they had to go get freaking,
Sounds like Lane Kiffin.
I can't think of his name right now.
It sounds like the Lane Kiffin situation in a way, don't it? That's why, they're going to trade out. Brian Kelly's going, well, he can't go to Ole Miss. They already hired somebody. They hired Pete Golden. So I can't stoke the fires on that shit. They already screwed that up for me.
Man, I'm just surprised I'm not surprised. It sounds like they felt like they had to do it. They had to hire, they had to do whatever they could to present to the committee that this was just a hiccup. This is nothing going to be a real problem.
Let's just stop it right there. At the first 3 words, stop right there and just delete the rest of that. The SEC is great. I'm glad you admit that. I'm glad you finally got on your knees and worshiped us as the gods that we are of college football. Man. I'm glad you decided to come to your senses, man. You can get up off your knee now, and we will be nicer to you hereforth.
We're friends with the Silver Fox. The Silver Fox is a friend of the show.
He's just a little misled, that's all.
Only way to cap Notre Dame would leave them out and stop scheduling them. Force them into a conference.
That's
yeah,
right.
I agree, but I don't think that's their...
They'll just continue to schedule Army and Stanford and Navy and Purdue. That's an in-state rival. Purdue's in West Lafayette, Indiana. All right. Well, then why don't y'all play Indiana every year? Yeah, let's see you do that shit. I don't see you playing Indiana every year.
I think. By the way, speaking of
Indiana,
Indiana, I think Indiana might be. I think Indiana might give Ohio State everything that they could want and more.
Yeah. If one of them teams has got to lose, are they going to drop them out of the bye, or do they have a bye locked down? Indiana and Ohio State, regardless of the outcome.
I mean, I can't imagine. Well, I guess we're going to find out. That's a great question, because if Alabama were to lose and they actually drop them out because of that loss, then whoever loses in the Big Ten championship should suffer an equal drop, don't you think?
They're both undefeated.
I know they won't drop out of the playoff, but I mean they should definitely lose the bye.
Yeah, they should lose
they
the
should
bye.
Fall more than a couple of spots if Bama's going to fall out from 10 to 13.
We called a loss to Oklahoma, and they dropped us all the way to number 10.
Right.
So they should drop them at least 5 or 6 at that point.
So
it's not like Oklahoma blowed us out.
No.
They ain't like Oklahoma blew us out or something.
No.
They dropped us like we lost by 20 or something.
So with that, that's actually a good point, man. I didn't really think about that. So that means the top 4 should definitely not have one of those Big Ten members. So that means they'll definitely put in one of them. Let's call it Indiana for the sake of it. Actually, they're probably more likely to drop Indiana further than they would Ohio State, don't you think?
Just because of name recognition.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Let's say Indiana loses. They fall out of the top 4, then that would mean it would probably be Ohio State, Georgia 1 and 2, and then are they really going to put Oregon in?
They might put
number 3.
They might even put they might put Ole Miss up there if Alabama beats Georgia.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be.
You know what might happen? You know what might happen? This really piss off a lot of people outside the Big Ten. Is if Ohio State and Indiana played a close game, like a last-second field goal, and they give both of them a bye, and then Georgia loses, and they move Oregon up into a bye, and you have 3 Big Ten teams with a bye.
Yeah. That
shit can happen.
That's a nightmare scenario right there. That's
I'll be honest with you, I hope it does happen. I don't want that bye, man. That's too much time off. I don't want that bye. I want a home game here in Tuscaloosa if we beat Georgia. That should be our reward. If we win the SEC championship, we should at least get a home game. We should get pushed over Notre Dame.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't care if it's the 8th seed, and we have to play Notre Dame. I would love to bring Notre Dame down here to Tuscaloosa.
No, that would probably what they would because they love Notre Dame so much. But wouldn't it be funny if y'all win it, then y'all move up to 8 and it drops us to 9, and we end up playing y'all again in Tuscaloosa?
That's head to head. I think they would probably make us go to Norman.
You know, I don't know.
Which I'd be fine with that because y'all come down here and beat us on our field on homecoming. What better way to get you back than to knock you out of the playoffs?
I hope that doesn't happen, man. Shit, I didn't think about that. But honestly,
I'm secretly hoping it will happen.
I think that's probably going to happen, actually.
It's not a secret anymore, is it?
No, that's probably coming. Well, regardless, at the end of the day, I mean, look, Oklahoma's got their. I'm not gonna say JD Willmouth in the house, man. Hadn't seen JD. I think it's if we're being realistic, it does seem hard to imagine. I thought it was about to happen to us yesterday. It does seem hard to imagine that we could make a run all the way and win it all with that offense if they just can't figure anything out. If they can't figure anything out, just some core plays, man, that they can run. If they can't get that figured out, I just find it hard to believe that they're gonna. I mean, they just have to have so many things bounce their way if that's to win it that way. To win it all on defense and special teams, man, so difficult. So. Man, as long as we get in, that's the win for me. I think that makes this year a success. And it really, again, if we can get Kip Lewis to come back, then I think next year
Numbskull
could be a good year for us.
Numbskull says Bama wins, Notre Dame will drop down to 10. Well, I hope so because
I hope so.
It looked rather retarded if Notre Dame's sitting there not having to play in a playoff in a championship game. With, by the way, I told you this off air, but I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but the teams that Notre Dame have actually beaten, not the teams they've lost to. Take the teams they lost to out of the equation. The teams that Notre Dame have beat have a collective record of 12-56. 12-56, man.
Let that sink in for a little while. Just let that sink in for a little while. 12-56.
That's bad, man.
What the hell, man? Really? What the hell?
That's bad. That's bad. And man,
that's
just blatant. It's just blatant,
bad.
man. That's just the playoff committee telling all of us that we're completely stupid. They think we're dumb, and we're just gonna go along with that shit. If they leave out an SEC runner-up this year, there's going to be some problems next year. They're going to do some serious negotiating in the playoff committee thing.
Well, I mean, man, they just, it takes them a while to get things right anyway. We're still in the early years of this expanded playoff, and we know it's going to expand to even more. I think again, man, not to beat a dead horse here, but I think the only fair way to do this moving forward, especially if you're going to expand. Look, let's say you expand it to 16.
Yeah, they don't need to go.
What is the point? What is the point of having any automatic qualifiers like conference championship? If you can't get into the top 16 as your conference champion, you don't deserve to be in the playoff, man.
Nope.
The fact that you won your conference means nothing if you're not even the 16th ranked team in the country as your conference champion.
It means something. It means your conference is shitty. That's what it means. If you can't get a team in the top 16, your conference ain't worth a shit. That goes for the G5 too. If they want a spot, they got to get the ranking to do it. Numbskull News says Bama wins and BYU wins. Notre Dame will be out. I would like that. Now, I'd be all for that. I mean, I'm not big on the Mormon religion, but it would not hurt my feelings if the Catholics got left out for the Mormons.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Besides, man, I mean, they like to have a couple of wives or two. I can't afford more than one, though, man. I can't afford more than one wife.
They're not cheap. They're not cheap. That's a fact.
Especially, them women like Lori, man. They're high maintenance.
Lori is a high class woman, man. She requires a lot.
That's right. She's so high class that if Oklahoma pisses her off at halftime, she will go to Starbucks.
She will haul ass.
She did it before. She'll do it again. She will go get that what is it? A caramel frappuccino. No more Boomer Sooner. It's gonna be caramel frappuccino at halftime.
I've never had a Starbucks in my life, so I don't know exactly. I just know macchiato. I don't know what the hell a macchiato is, but I know the word.
Richard said, Jesse don't want OU again. Oh, yes, I do. You just
yes, he does. Are you kidding me? That's the team he wants the most right now. What are you talking about?
Y'all done yanked our goddamn skirt down twice.
By the way, if it ever went past 24 and they went to
shit, don't say that.
Let's say it goes to 24. I meant if it goes past 16. Let's say it goes to 24. I guess it would be 24 because it'd be 16, 24, and 32. Yeah. So let's say it goes to 24. And they do adapt the rule of no automatic qualifiers at all. It's just the top ranked. And we use the BCS system. If it was a 24 team spread, how many teams from the SEC are getting in?
24?
Yeah.
Shit, man. We'll probably get 80 in at least. At least 80.
I think you got a shot at you probably on some years are getting 10 or 11.
Well, a down year, they might get lucky and only get 7 in. The rest of the nation.
It would be so if this thing expands past a certain point,
deal breaker.
It's
deal breaker. It's a deal breaker, man. You done lost out now. She said if you can't drink Starbucks, that's a deal breaker, man.
I don't, listen, if you want to spend money on Starbucks, be my guest.
He's a 7 brews. He likes 7 brews. That's what he's like, 7 brews.
What is it?
7 brews. It's like Starbucks, except they have more varieties and they actually have a lot of more sugar-free varieties for diabetics like me. Giving 7 brews free publicity here. Maybe I should get them to be my sponsor. I don't know.
That's probably a good idea. You like coffee?
Not a big fan. I drink it occasionally. Most time I'm drinking stuff like this. I got me an Alani, either an Alani or a Celsius, something like that.
I've never been a coffee guy.
Numbskull says 24 doesn't happen without automatic qualifiers. Automatic qualifiers are for people that can't get in the playoffs on their own. It's like a DEI hire.
It is. It's a political correctness thing. It's just so that we can try to make it so this is fair. Everybody has a chance.
You know who was all for that? You know who was all for that 24 team format? You know who
Liberal
was all
spastics.
Huh?
Liberal spastics.
Well, yeah, them too. But Kuz. And I'm like, yeah, surprise, surprise, West Virginia barely wins 7 games a year. Of course you want there to be 24 teams so you can sneak in maybe one year with an 8-4 record or 9-3.
I wonder how many teams Kuz thinks that the Big 12 should get in the playoff this year.
Man, Kuz will probably tell you 3.
We're full of it on the automatic qualifiers. Why, Numbskull? Why? What is the point of having James Madison in the flipping tournament? You
automatic
think James Madison is the best team in the country?
Automatic qualifiers is just like meeting a quota, man. You're hiring somebody based on them not being qualified enough. You're just basing it on the color of their skin or their sex. And that doesn't make you qualified for the position. It just means you're a different color and a different sex. It has nothing to do with whether you're qualified.
Yes, the dude on the right lives in an RV. He doesn't live in Oklahoma, Burnt Toast, but I'm happy to give you my address if you want to come meet face to face. What's wrong
with RVs? I know a lot of rich folks that travel around the country live in RVs that probably could buy your house 3 times. I mean, unless it's, I'm not going to say anything bad about people's houses.
He has no idea.
I'll be honest with you. Some of the best people I've ever met are living in trailers. People that will treat you well, won't try to molest your kids, stuff like that. P. Diddy shit. P. Diddy's got a mansion, so I guess that means he's a great person, right? Don't get me started on that shit, man.
The other thing is, you know, just because I am in an RV does not mean anything about what else I might be in at other times. You know what I'm saying? So, personally, I think it's a pretty weak look to actually let's say this was my only abode. That's your thing, Burnt. You wanna hit on somebody that might be down on their luck. That makes you feel like a hot shot. Somebody has a small penis.
I don't have a legitimate argument to come back and talk to you about football with, so I'm going to take a shot at your financial situation, because that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about people's finances, I guess. But
well, first of all, man, again, like you think what Burnt Toast thinks doesn't mean a whole lot in my world. So he can have whatever opinion he wants. My point is,
the name is
this internet thing. This internet thing, lives forever. So you might want to consider how many times you want to make a complete ass of yourself in front of everybody. I would limit it to a minimum if I were you, Burnt Toast. But if you feel like continuing to make an ass of yourself, go on.
The screen name says it all. I mean, who would name themselves Burnt Toast? Only a legitimate idiot would burn toast. If you don't know how to put the settings on your toaster to where the toast is supposed to not be burnt, unless you just like eating burnt toast, which sounds like a mental illness of some sort, maybe like, I don't know, being a transgender made-up word person.
By the way, let me say thanks to the. Let me say, here we go. Plus, the vinyl on his walls is peeling. That's funny. There's no vinyl, and he probably Burnt Toast, man. God, what I would give to meet little keyboard warriors like you in person. I am completely willing to give you, Jesse, if you'd like to set it up to where me and this chump can talk offline, I'm completely willing to give you my address.
I can come in here right now.
The inside of my recreational vehicle. We can arrange that at any time.
He's gotten his 5 minutes of fame. I must say that if the ploy was to get your 5 minutes of fame, you have done that.
But let me also we
just probably need to move on from him, because that's what he wants, is attention.
Well, before we do that, let's end it on this, because this is pretty cool. Simultaneously, while Burnt Toast is showing the size of his incredibly small penis, the Outlaw Posse chat room has uniformly taken my side and has got my back, which I appreciate all of y'all for that. Burnt Toast, your motor's running.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But back to what we were talking about with Numbskull. We were actually on a legit topic.
Chris Camp says the Outlaws done made Numbskull mad. What'd I do? You mad at me, Numbskull? What'd I do? I didn't know he's mad. Thought he was having some nice little banter.
Well, we were having a good topic about the automatic qualifier thing, and what I was saying, he said
what it is he's one of those automatic qualifier people, except he's not. He's probably mad because I made a remark about the DEI and the quotas and the libtards and that kind of thing.
But like, take example, when TCU made their run, they didn't need an automatic qualifier that year. They would have been in.
Exactly.
They would have
earned it. They earned it. I give you shit about them losing by a lot of points, but you're right. I can say I'm wrong a little bit. There have been other games, playoff games, where there were blowouts. You're correct in that.
Well, Oklahoma was one of them.
But yours was just the worst. That's all I'm saying. Y'all hold the record right now. Maybe one day someone will break that record.
Well, Oklahoma's was pretty bad, and I was at that game in
even
person.
though I give TCU, I mess with them about that. TCU earned their way in, and not only did they earn their way in, they actually won a game.
Dude, not only did they win, they put a whooping on Michigan in that game. That was a legit win, and it was Michigan, right? That's who they played in the semi, wasn't it Michigan? I think it was Michigan.
Yeah, a lot of people can't afford RVs. I can't.
Hey, listen, man. I don't, again, I don't think we should give the guy any attention because that is what he wants. But I am not ashamed of living in my RV. That doesn't bother me in the least, man. Not one bit. That doesn't like, what does that? You know what it means? It means my overhead every month is incredibly low. It's probably a lot lower than that, whatever you're living in.
Yeah, you're probably right, JD. He probably does live in Section 8, which I don't have no problem with that, man. I'm not making fun of people where they live at all. If they live in Section 8,
I'm saying,
if they live in a cardboard, if they live in a cardboard box out there by the freeway, I'm not gonna take that shot, man. It's called low-hanging fruit, and it's just called Bush League, spineless, cowardly shit. That's all it is. Oh, shit.
Numbskull.
Have you ever seen that movie? What's that shit called? It's called Who's Your Daddy 2. It's got Will Ferrell and Marky Mark. Have you ever seen that movie with Will Ferrell?
I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one, no.
Anyway, at the beginning of that movie, Will Ferrell, his dad's John Lithgow, and Marky Mark's dad, I forget his name. What's his name? Mark
Wahlberg?
Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg's dad is real cool. He's Mel Gibson. And nice. Mel Gibson comes down the thing, and Will Ferrell's like, oh, he looks like a chiseled god of fathers. And so he comes down there, and then his father comes down. It's John Lithgow. And Will Ferrell runs up and kisses him right on the mouth. And Mel Gibson looks at Mark Wahlberg, and he says, well, that's a good close relationship. What should we do now? Should you get on your knees?
That's a good one. I need to watch that show. I saw a trailer for it not too long ago, and it looked funny.
Outlaw don't prime the pump on this crowd. It goes south fast. Yeah, it does. Maybe that's our weakness. Maybe we respond too much to the gallery. Sometimes we let them make it fun, man. We let them get us rattled. Sometimes we all get rattled.
We got to interact with the posse in the chat, man. That's the whole point.
We even got Steve Lee's on your side, man.
That's right. It's called solidarity.
You know you done messed up, man. If you got Steve Lee's taking up for Killer Breeze, talking about you need to get on your knees. That shit sort of rhymes. Might be able to make a rap song out of that shit.
Raider Steel, is it Black Raider Steel? Is that how you pronounce that? Black Raider Steel says the SEC conference is like a brat that yearns for attention, and when the money is threatened, they lash out. What? Explain, Raider Steel.
Look here. Let me explain something to you, man. The only persons getting preferential treatment are Notre Dame and the Big Ten. Big Ten got 4 teams in last year. How many did the SEC get? 3. So you tell me who's getting the preferential treatment here. It ain't the SEC.
Yeah, I think if anything, you could argue the Big opposite. Ten. You could argue the opposite, that the SEC has up to this point the expanded playoff they got biased against because everybody was afraid. The committee was afraid clearly to put too many teams from the SEC in because they didn't want to hear anything about it. They knew the rest of the country would whine about it, so they actually had the nerve to put in an extra team from the Big Ten trying to still keep up this narrative that the Big Ten is somehow equal to the SEC. They're not.
Well,
They're top heavy.
They overcompensate for the SEC hate. They're like, man, we can't put another SEC team in because then they'll think we're biased towards the SEC. So we're going to overcompensate, and we're going to put SMU in, who shit the bed against a 9-3 Clemson team, and then get blowed out by Penn State. So
Penn State.
Just saying.
So tennis girl, I think there's a good chance there might be 6 when it's all said and done.
I don't think it's going to be 6, but it definitely should be 5. And if it's only 4, we just need to secede from the NCAA and form our own league, like Sankey was talking about doing.
I was gonna say, dude, they will do that if they get pushed around too much. Why wouldn't they? You know, they will just poach some more teams, and whoever they want will come. There's only 1 or 2 teams in the country, I think, that would possibly turn down a bid from the SEC, and one of them, ironically, is Notre Dame. I don't think Notre Dame would ever go to the SEC.
No. Notre Dame ended up being just like Arkansas when they come over from the Southwest Conference.
Yeah. Well, you think Notre Dame would ever go to the SEC? I just don't even. I don't see them ever even.
They got this thing about them. That's why they went and got that. What's it called? That that shit that they have to be in the Big Ten. What's it called?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That God, I'm not going to remember the name of it. The it's an acronym, right?
It's AR something.
I don't remember.
The AAU.
AAU, thank you. Yeah, it's like
the AAU accreditation, which the Big Ten uses to say we don't just take athletic teams or athleticism into account. We take into account our education, which is horseshit.
Right. So I don't think
if the education was the most important thing, then why did you take USC and UCLA and not Stanford and Cal?
Now, the interesting thing is, I do think USC regrets going to the Big Ten.
Now, they might get out now. USC and Michigan's talking about getting out because of that damn equity shit.
Yeah.
Which would be fine with me. I think USC would go independent like Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think they would. I think USC is actually another team that would not come to the SEC if we gave them a bid, nor would I want them to be in the SEC. But the point being, if the committee wrongs the SEC too many times, they will just take their ball and go elsewhere. There's no need for them not to. They've just got too many. I mean, man, whether people want to admit it or not, the addition of Texas and Oklahoma from a brand standpoint was a big deal to the SEC. And
it was a big deal.
And now that just puts them in a completely different league, in a category. And then just imagine if they just add a few more.
Look, man,
what if they go get a North Carolina, or they go get again a Miami or Florida State?
Let me tell you, the Big Ten wanted Texas and Oklahoma themselves, okay? And when we took them, it pissed them off so bad that they went out and got 4 teams.
Yeah,
it took 4 teams to equal Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah. That's ultimately what they did, man. They felt the need to do it immediately and make a move like that. UNC sucks, but not in basketball. It'd be a great brand to add to the SEC. I would love to get North Carolina.
That and Kansas, the Jayhawks are good in basketball.
Yeah, Kansas would be another one I would take in a heartbeat, because they would just add to the basketball and it would just make the football a little easier, which I'd be fine with. But my point is, that's what I think they will eventually do if the committee doesn't give them a better deal in the playoff. And we were told strength of schedule was supposed to matter. We went to 9 conference games.
They psyched us up.
That looks incredibly foolish at this point.
It was real foolish.
Greg Sankey got
psyched up.
He got played on that a little bit.
Yeah, he's like that kid on the Christmas Story where they triple dog Darren to stick his damn tongue to the damn frozen pole. And now he's stuck to the damn pole looking like an idiot.
Yep.
because we beat up on each other, and that's what they want. We already do that with 8 conference games. Look at us now. Most of the teams we've lost to this year have been fellow SEC teams.
Yeah. No, that's 100% correct. I mean, that's exactly right.
We lost a couple of conference games and non-conference games early, but most of the time they don't happen. That's usually an anomaly. Usually Alabama and Oklahoma win those early, and Texas even wins those early conference games.
But also, just look at the record. Look at how many great records you have at the end of this year in the SEC. You've got 4 11-1 teams. Is that right? No, 3 11-1 teams, and then you've got 4 10-2 teams. Is that right? So is it like 7 teams that are 10-2 or better?
Here's another issue I have. Why does it matter when we play our cupcakes? It actually makes y'all look stupid for playing your cupcakes early. If you play your cupcakes early, you don't get a chance to rest your starters later in the year. If y'all didn't play cupcakes, then you won't have a bitch. But y'all play cupcakes too. Y'all play your cupcakes. It doesn't matter when you play them. Why does that matter? Explain to me why that matters.
Silver Fox, we need an answer. Don't just sit there looking good on your keyboard with your pretty white hair. Give us the reason why playing the cupcakes later in the year so as to help yourself heal a little bit from the gauntlet that is the SEC. Why is that? Why does that matter?
It actually makes the Big Ten and the Big 12 and the ACC all look stupid if they play all their cupcakes early. Now, the ACC may play cupcakes late. I don't know about them or the Big 12, but I know that's what the Big 10 does. They play all their cupcakes early, and then they bitch and whine about us playing cupcakes late.
That's what we did in the Big 12. That's what we did in the Big 12, you know. So, you know, man, I mean, that's just, to me, that's just smart. You know, that's just smart. And
how are national titles flawed before the BCS? The SEC and Oklahoma and Texas, they all claim national titles that y'all claim too. Ohio State, Notre Dame, USC, all those teams claim titles from the AP poll era. That's retarded, man. I'm sorry.
Wait, he's talking about celebrating titles.
That's basically just retardism at its best.
He's saying he's talking about the time that began in 98. So he's talking about that's when BCS started, right? Wasn't that 98? How is that? Explain to me how that was flawed. And how were the titles before that better?
Yeah,
he can't be. Certainly, that's not the point he's making. He's certainly not trying to tell me.
All I saw was tainted titles, so I assumed he was talking about the AP poll titles.
No, he's talking about the BCS era. So, but he's certainly not trying to tell me that the AP titles were better than the.
Are you saying that nothing should count?
Yes.
That's what gets me about these people that have convenient timelines for history when football counts. Because if we're going to go by that, then let's just start with the playoff in the BCS era. And if you do that, Alabama still has probably double the national titles that your team does. We have 6 since the BCS era and the playoff era began. Alabama's got 6 national titles. So. Just saying.
Yeah, that's just kind of the system.
The SEC
fans started watching college football.
The SEC
went streak to thrive because Florida State played Miami and Kiffin plays.
The SEC has 17 national titles this century. So you tell me who's the better conference? It ain't because we say it; it's because it's a fact. All you gotta do is look at this shit, man. We're not even going. We don't have to count the AP poll era. Let's just count right now, man. The SEC's got 17, I think, 16 or 17 titles this century, right?
That was the whole reason why we always wanted a playoff in the first place, was because none of us were ever happy with the systems that have ever been in place 100%. So we wanted it to be settled on the field. And obviously, the more teams you have in it,
Yeah, you know why?
up to a point at least.
You know why we didn't have a playoff until the 2000s? Because the freaking Big Ten tied up the Rose Bowl with 2 teams.
That is true.
So all the other conferences had to follow suit and get them a big bowl and tie in with the big bowl, and it screwed it up for everybody. And they were the last ones to come into the BCS.
That is
They
true.
drug their feet, screaming and hollering, Rose Bowl, Rose Bowl tradition. Nobody gives a shit about that archaic ass stadium. That damn stadium looks like somebody should just blow that shit up, man.
Yeah, to hell with you and your big ass floats. We don't give a shit about no damn parade.
They got scared because my team, Alabama, and a few Southern teams went into the Rose Bowl and embarrassed them. So they tied the conference up with the Big Ten and the Pac-12 and took their ball and went home for 60 years. Held us up from having a playoff. Bear Bryant, Bud Wilkinson, all those guys wanted to play off in the 1950s and 60s, and y'all just want to take your ball and go home. So unless you know your college football history, shut the hell up, man.
Shut up, man. That's what I'm trying to say. Hell yeah. Chris Camp says if you're not number 1, 2, or 3, you shouldn't have a chance to win the title. Honestly, it was like that for most of the history. Then the crybabies would quit whining.
Ain't none of those titles tainted, man. And you need to learn how to spell black. It's spelled CK, not with a Q. Think that's Q.
Titles won. Oh yeah, that's Black Raider Steel saying that. Well, the system has always been flawed. It's still. I honestly, I don't even.
We're
it's
all
still
celebrating
now.
We're all celebrating tainted titles. Everybody's celebrating tainted titles. Everybody.
Well, yeah.
That's
I want some more. I would like to have more tainted titles. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
So,
I want to taint the shit out of Notre Dame. I want to bring their ass down here to Tuscaloosa and taint that ass.
I got you taint hanging low. But we're so close to having as good of a system as you can get. If you just take the committee out of it, just put the computer back in place, the BCS rankings back in place. Going up to 16, I guarantee you can feel confident that it's right, and then you settle it on the field. But the automatic qualifiers, from the conferences, I just don't like it. I don't like the group of 5 qualifier. I don't like any of that. Earn it on the field. Otherwise, then why do we even rank the teams? What are the hell are the rankings for anyway?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Just like we are the good people, says a fellow Alabama fan in here, Roll Tide. He says the separation between 2 and 3 and 6 and 7 is basically no difference, really.
The difference between 2, 3, and 6,
it's true.
I don't know about that.
In the SEC, it's this thin. Because Alabama could have easily lost to South Carolina. There's so many games this year where it's just razor thin, man. You can't lose in the SEC. You get behind the 8 ball, you end up like Florida, man.
Yeah.
So
Thunder's still hyped up about Notre Dame having that damn play like a champion sign. They need to take that down. Thunder's not happy about that, and I couldn't agree more. That shit is fraudulent.
Lou Holtz
fraudulent. They put that sign up in the 90s, man.
Lou Holtz said that Notre Dame came up with that idea.
Dude, that's not true. You just pissing me. Now you're just trying to twist the knife. That's what you're doing. You're just twisting the knife.
Now, Notre Dame does have a history of screwing Oklahoma's win streaks up. Y'all had a win streak, they broke it, and then y'all had the record win streak, and they broke it too. Now y'all can get some revenge. You get them in the playoffs and spank that ass. Get Notre Dame to come to Norman.
I'd be happy to. I would love to do nothing. I think it would be great for our players to be able to hit the play like a champion sign where it damn started when Notre Dame is the team coming out the other tunnel.
Oh, y'all got to be fair. Y'all got to put one in their locker room too.
which actually I think we've already been able to do that. But no,
Y'all
wait,
can play-
what did you just say? What did
Y'all
you
need-
just say?
You need to play like a champion sign.
Hell no.
Locker room.
Hell no. That will never,
Hey.
ever happen.
Y'all can be. It could be like a title, man. Whoever wins the game gets to claim the sign.
No, that sign ain't going nowhere. That sign stays right where it is in Norman, Oklahoma. That's where that sign started under the legendary Bud.
Chris Camp says, honestly, I don't know about the titles before 92, even though I was born in 78, but I can honestly say Bama wins at least 15 of those titles undisputed, reading upon the history of the NCAA recognizes Bama with 4. Now, I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, but actually, if you go to ncaa.org, they actually recognize Alabama with 22. We only claim 18. NCAA.org also recognizes Oklahoma with 18, and they only claim 7. So, just saying. If we claimed every title that was given to the 2 Crimson Nations, we'd have about 50 of them some bitches.
Well, J.D. Wilmot said, why doesn't Oklahoma claim their split national championships? I don't understand why they don't. I'll say this. I think this is actually coming. I think it will not be long before all programs, including Oklahoma, claim all of the national titles that they can claim.
Actually, Oklahoma does claim the split national titles when it comes to the UPI and the AP poll. They claim those. They just don't claim these off-shot polls like Sports Illustrated bathing suit top 25 and shit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But I think that's coming. I think now that Auburn did it, I think, and who else? There was another school that did
Oklahoma
it too.
State.
Oklahoma State. That's right. How did I forget that?
Oklahoma State sucked so bad that they went back and claimed fake titles and could still only get 1. At least Auburn did it and had a reason. They went back and claimed 5. I think they stole 1 from Miami, and they might even try to take 1 from y'all.
I think they did.
I know they tried to take 1 from LSU.
I think they took our 2000 one, wasn't it? 2000.
I don't know. I think
when did they go undefeated? When did they go undefeated? When did they go?
It's when USC beat y'all in the title game. They trying to say they should have won.
No, that's right. No, you're right. That was the year. That's when they went undefeated, but they were on suspension, right?
Yep.
So they couldn't play in a bowl game.
Charlie Moore said that y'all should use a gold helmet with maybe an OU logo on it just to piss Notre Dame off.
Now, that would be funny. That would be funny. They actually have Nike did some merchandise, some gear for them that has the gold. It was for their anniversary, I think, or for some occasion, and they actually do have gold lettering. That's the kind of gold that's on Notre Dame's helmet. So that would be funny as hell to me.
So that, or they could have a gold helmet with red letters on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looked like a damn Christmas ornament if you did that shit.
Yeah. No, hell no. I don't want no goddamn gold. We're going to have nothing but the crimson out there, brother. There's nothing but crimson, and we're going to stuff it down their throat. I just, man, again, I just have no faith in the committee. I think that they're going to look for a reason to bump OU out of that home game. Somehow they're going to justify it in their head. And so I just don't think Oklahoma is going to get that fortunate, even though I think they earned it. I could argue that with anyone. But I'm also used to the OU gets a lot of hate. I get it.
That's because they're blue blood. Actually, Alabama and Oklahoma are gold bloods. We're a little bit higher than all the other blue bloods. Black Bader Steele says Bama hired a quitter of failure as head coach in 2007. Bama fans didn't know Bama had football. Blah, 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 blah. It's the same old shit from the Alabama haters. We actually know our history, and you probably don't. You're probably a fan of USC or something. Alabama's had national championships under 5 different head coaches, not just 2. It ain't just Barry Bryant and Nick Saban. We had one under Gene Stallings in between that, as a matter of fact. So Just
That's
saying.
right.
If you don't know the history of your team, you need to shut up.
That's right.
I think he's just a troll, man.
Yeah.
He don't believe anything he's saying because he just said this. You know, he's got to be retarded or emasculated.
Well, that's just dumb. I mean, everybody knows that's just dumb. Nick Saban can't coach. Please explain. I would love Black Raider Steel to please explain to me your reasoning behind this statement. Nick Saban can't coach. Reaction.
It's pretty weak trolling, man. I mean, when you troll somebody, the idea is make them think that you actually believe what you're saying, and we know that you don't believe that. So you're just emasculated. Look, Mr. Dilligaff says Bama wins out. Does that push Notre Dame out?
We can only hope, Mr. Dilligaff. We can only
if
hope.
Alabama does win out and Miami moves up, they may jump Miami over Notre Dame because of the head-to-head, and that might push Notre Dame out. That would make me very happy.
That would I don't think Notre Dame deserves to be in, to be honest with. Well, yeah, no, I don't think they deserve to be in. I really don't. Miami either. And I know they're going to put both of those teams in somehow. They're going to that's going to end up.
Miami doesn't deserve to be in because they didn't get to go to the conference title game. Really, I mean, you can't make the conference title game in the ACC. It'd be different if it was like Oregon.
Yeah, but who is in a title game at the ACC? Is Duke actually in one of the? Did I hear something about Duke?
Duke has 5 losses too. Duke lost
and who?
Duke and Virginia.
Virginia.
It sounds like an NCAA basketball tournament final, right?
Ah, that's so great.
If Duke wins, they'll have 5 losses. The ACC might not get anybody in. They better hope Virginia wins. Is what they better hope. They might not get nobody in.
I think they're gonna try to put Miami in, man.
If the Blue Devils win,
Miami. I heard them talking about Miami on ESPN. They're like, does this seem like the Ohio State of last year, making this push at the end of the season?
No. They're not as good as Ohio State last year.
That's what they were saying, man. That's what they were saying on ESPN.
Ohio State,
this was reminiscent of Ohio State last year.
Ohio State wasn't ranked out of the top 12 or on the cusp.
But you know, they had a couple of losses early on, or at least one loss early on last year. In the beginning of the year, people weren't thinking that much of them, and then they started fucking just getting more and more steam towards the end of the year and made the run in the playoff. You know, I mean, they were talking about firing Ryan Day mid-season. You know.
No, LSU didn't fire Nick Saban, Lord. Nick Saban left for an NFL job.
Nick Saban left for Miami.
He left LSU for an NFL job, which is what most coaches do when they get offered the NFL. They usually leave. That's just the way it is.
Saban left for Miami after he was won a national championship at LSU.
Well,
he stayed one more year, right?
I'm just saying, if Duke wins, they got 5 losses. They're not going to be ranked ahead of James Madison, most likely. So it goes to the top 5. Tulane or North Texas will get the G5 spot, and then there'll be another spot for either the ACC or the next highest G5 conference, which would be James Madison. James Madison should be in over Duke. If Duke wins, James Madison should be in over Duke, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Duke lost to UConn in a conference game. That's worse than Alabama losing to Florida State.
I just don't see how you put anyone in from the ACC, man. Again, no one deserves to be from the ACC. None. 0. I'm a lot cooler with the Big 12 getting 2 bids than the ACC getting 1.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'd rather see the Big 12 get 2 bids and the ACC get 0.
Yeah. I mean,
0. The Big 12 conference better than the ACC.
So hell yeah, it's better than the
ACC and the Pac-12.
Not even close.
They both had a chance to kill the Big 12 off, and they didn't do it because they said, our academic standards are too high to have Big 12 teams in our conference. And the Big 10, we got this alliance, and we're not going to put up with the big bad SEC or the Big 12 anymore. And then the Big 10 screwed the Pac-12.
Yep.
And now the ACC's fixing to get the same shit. They're fixing to get rated. In 2030, the ACC will be no more.
Now, we give the Big 12 a lot of grief. It's all in good fun. But the one thing we've also always given the Big 12 credit for making the moves that they made to be the conference that was left standing when the Big 10 and the SEC made their moves. It could have been any one of those conferences. It could have been the Pac-12, actually. It could have been the ACC. But against all odds, it was the Big 12. And, again, in some ways, you could argue that they certainly missed the revenue from Oklahoma and Texas, or at least that what Oklahoma and Texas brands brought to the conference. But now with the expansion of the number of teams in the conference, and they're all on about the same level. There's parity in that league. So you could not only were they the one left standing out of those three, they what used to be the Power Five, they clearly separated themselves. There's no comparison between the ACC, and I don't even know what the hell's left of the Pac-12 anymore.
Actually, Black, Nick Saban left Miami, and he didn't really have a bad record. Yeah, I think he was 9-7 his last year. People in the misconception that he left like Bob Petrino did in the middle of the night with the Atlanta Falcons. That's not what happened. He waited till after the season. He was actually a 500 coach, and he would have been better than that, but he was promised full control of player acquisitions, and he wanted Drew Brees, and they failed Drew Brees on the medical, which was bullshit. And New Orleans ends up picking him up, and they win a Super Bowl with Drew Brees. And the Miami brass give him Dante Culpepper.
Dante Culpepper, yeah.
So the reason why Nick Saban left is because he was lied to, and he couldn't control the shit. So that's why he left Miami. If he had stayed at Miami, he would probably end up winning. He was right on the cusp of the playoffs.
Especially if he had gotten Drew Brees.
That's what I'm saying. If they'd given him Drew Brees like he wanted, it's obvious that he knew what he was talking about. He knew how to coach. He knows how to evaluate because he's won numerous recruiting battles. So it sounds like you've been emasculated at some point. That's why I asked you who your team is. You still haven't told us who your team is. Are you scared to say who your team is? Just saying.
Now, they weren't totally wrong about Drew's shoulder, because Drew's shoulder did give out. He had a few good years in New Orleans when he could still hum the ball down the field, but his last 4 or 5 years, he was limited to short, medium distance routes.
They won a Super Bowl.
But he was still winning. He's my favorite quarterback ever. I love Drew Brees.
Had the Dolphins had Drew Brees, I definitely think they would have made the playoffs.
Oh, they probably would have won a Super Bowl. We that was all about Drew Brees with us, at least. I mean, he was amazing, man. Still amazing. He's still a big part of the community down there.
I think Numbskull already knows who Black's team is. It's a WNBA team.
The Mercury? I don't know any of the other ones. What are some of the other team names in the WNBA?
Dude, I have no idea.
Mercury.
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Nobody knows.
Could be the
I know the Mercury.
Could be the Santa Barbara Transgenders.
The Fever. That's another one. Where's the Fever? Where is the Fever from?
Oh, yeah. Indiana.
Indiana.
I forgot about old Caitlin Clark. She's probably the best thing they had going, and they just decided to shit all over her, and now she's turning into a liberal spastic herself, I think. Nobody making excuses, son. You the ones making excuses. You the ones coming here saying shit that's not true, and I'm just shooting it down. I'm educating you, and you don't like the education. If you don't like the education, then, you can kick rocks, man. I'm just trying to help you so you don't look like a complete idiot. I'm just trying to help you out, man. I mean, I feel like maybe you probably wet your diaper and you probably rashed up a little bit. Someone might want to get him some cream or something. What do you think's good for rashing up for haters, Killer Breeze?
Well, we got a hater right here. Here we go. Burnt toast. See, remember what I used to tell you about these Texas punks? Here it is.
He's a Texas guy.
You guys, it's so funny to me. Let's get it out. Let's get it out in the open. Burnt toast.
Let's
talk about Texas. Let's talk about Texas and their absolute history of mediocrity. You guys haven't done jack shit. You realize that? Outside of a couple of good years under your Darryl K. Royal, who, by the way, your stadium is named after a Sooner, you fucking idiot. Texas did nothing for decades after Darryl K. Royal left. What's your best run? A couple of years under Fred the Faggot Akers? I don't think so. You did nothing until Mac Brown got there. And you want to talk about someone who spent his career on his knees at Texas, that would be Mac Brown to Bob Stoops, chump. So if you want to start talking about who the big team was in the Big 12, you were always our bitch. Number one, the biggest bitch of them all. We own you. You do realize that, right? The last couple of years don't mean shit. And what are you doing right now? You're watching from the sidelines. You stupid, flipping moron.
Look here, man. There's a reason Oklahoma's in the playoffs and Texas ain't. It's because Texas is they've actually been rather lucky. I mean, they happened to catch Oklahoma right after their starting quarterback got injured. Directly after that. They were the first team John Mateer played after his injury, correct?
Absolutely.
There you go. And it's pretty much showing up right now. I mean, Texas, and another thing, here's a little history for you too, because you probably don't know your own team's history. Texas used to be in a conference called the Southwest Conference. And they won
numerous. They didn't do shit in that conference.
Yeah, well, they won numerous conference titles there. And Oklahoma has the most conference titles ever of any team. They got like, what is it, 50, 51, 50. Something like that?
Yeah.
Texas 50. Joined the Big 12, and y'all's conference championships have come at very, very far and few between. If Oklahoma and Texas had been in the same conference for this whole time, you probably wouldn't even have any conference titles hardly to speak of, man, because Oklahoma's won 50 or 51, right?
50. He knows damn good and well. The Texas was inconsequential. It was Nebraska that mattered. Texas was just that state rival game. That's all it was. You want to know why? Because they don't do anything. They are the story of mediocrity. You want to talk about the biggest underachieving program in the history of college football. There's a couple of them, but there ain't none bigger than Texas Longhorns, considering the amount of money that you guys have and the amount of resources that you have. It's a joke that you don't do better. You have a ton of money, but you did nothing. You do nothing. What have you done in the SEC? You haven't done anything. You've done nothing. You made it to the playoffs. Big whip. So did 11 other teams last year.
If Alabama and Oklahoma both had the kind of money that Texas has and the size that Texas is in a rich recruiting ground that is Texas, Alabama and Oklahoma would probably have 20 or 30 national titles by now. But Texas just underachieves, like you say. They got all this money and they continue to shit the bed. Texas is like the New York Yankees without the titles.
Yes, that's a great analogy. You go look at every single statistical category outside of the overall win-loss record, which we all know. Who cares, about wins in 1898? If you go look at every other statistical category, overall wins, weeks spent at number one, national championships, conference championships, All-Americans, all of it, they are behind us in every single imaginable way.
Heisman
trophies, same thing. They're in every imaginable way. And yet somehow they are it's like this whole thing about, and I lived in Austin, man, for 13 years, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. It's this bubble that you all live in because you're the darlings of the big state of Texas, And they don't realize how the rest of the country sees them. You haven't done anything, man. You are not a blue blood. That's the funny thing. You should be a blue blood, but you're not. You're not even close. So
Texas does have more money. That's what's so sad in School is they got the money, they got the resources, and they still can't get it done.
They have more money than everyone. That's my point. That's exactly my point. He was making a stupid ass Burnt Toast was making a comment, this guy on the right thinks that the Oklahoma brought money to the Big 12 and Oklahoma got on their knees begging us to take them to the SEC with us. That's just factually incorrect. That's just absolutely incorrect. The first of all, the contracts that the Big 12 got had everything to do with Oklahoma in terms of the winning. I can promise you that. It certainly wasn't due to the number of playoff and national championship appearances from Texas. That's a fact. So, dude just doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's representative of most of that fan base.
I don't have a problem with the state of Texas. The state of Texas is awesome. I love it.
That's probably not fair.
I love the state. I love the state of Texas because there's good people in Texas. It's like you said, there's that liberal shithole in the middle of Texas. It's called Austin, and that's where it is. Everybody's got that. Everybody gets that zit on their ass from time to time, and that's what Austin is, man. There's zit on your ass cheek.
I'm being unfair because I'm making the same mistake that most people make. I am taking the idiocy that is Burnt Toast and I'm applying it to the whole Texas fan base, which isn't fair.
Black's one saying this.
Well, Burnt Toast was saying this too.
Okay. Well, Black later still.
And the most of the Texas fan base is actually not like that. My sister-in-law is a huge Texas fan. I've got one of my best friends. I mean, a lot of my friends are Texas alum.
If they start living in Austin, that's what hurts you.
Yeah, it's not. It's just the delusional Texas fans out there. That's what makes it that is so funny to me. They have this revisionist history of who they are, and it's just not anywhere close to accurate. Not even close. So, if you want to talk smack about beating us last year, do that because you won last year.
They do the same thing to Alabama. They got a big lead on Alabama. It's like 8-2, but they played Alabama a lot back in the 19 teens in the Southland Conference when the forward pass had just been invented, and they run up a bunch of wins back then. But now it's just like. It's like you said, man. It's just their record just hasn't held up for the kind of resources they have to back them.
Dude, this is another funny thing. Look at what Black Raider Steel is saying. Now, this is ignorant. Are you really trying to talk about the SEC is inferior when it comes to NFL draft and Hall of Fame inductees? Are you serious, man?
Well, if they're going to keep bringing up these wins that they had over you right before the forward pass was invented, then they need to realize that Vanderbilt leads them like 7-2. You're 5 games behind Vanderbilt, so you can't really be talking about any of the records that you have from the 19 teams.
I mean,
Vanderbilt owns your ass in the overall series. You're one of only 2 teams that Vanderbilt has a winning record against. And surprisingly, they're both orange, and they both act like barn monkeys. And, it's Auburn in Texas. So there you go.
Yeah.
The orange shit. It's hard to get that stain off, man. It's a stain.
They like I said, man, they just have the revisionist history is at some point you have to be realistic about who you are. Just like Oklahoma fans have to be realistic about who we've been recently, not very good, except for this year. Which that's what we are. At least that's what I am. I've never claimed anything that isn't, I've never claimed Oklahoma to be anything than what they are at the time. And so if you want to talk realistically, let's do that. Otherwise, I don't have a lot of time for it.
Well, hey, brother, I'm fixing to get off of here.
All right, man. I had fun with y'all. Numbskull, be good. Everybody, Lori, Suda Spy, which I think is our boy Steve. But everybody that was in the house
Yes,
tonight,
Steve.
Thunder, of course, man. By the way, was JD Wilmot,
Yeah.
Chris Camp, all the guys. Appreciate y'all.
All right, brother.
Take
care.
it easy.
That was Killer Breeze, the consummate Oklahoma roughneck. I appreciate y'all being here today. If you don't mind, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button. And if you want to donate to the program, as I said before, money $sign JPC316 on Cash App, as well as Venmo JPC316, because we got demonetized for resharing Charlie Kirk TikTok videos until December 14th. KMCA to all the other teams, especially Texas. Horns down. Class is now dismissed.